All right. We're back with another presentation. This time we're going to be talking about audio design in gaming. Um, so first we start off with what is audio design. So it's more than just sound effects and music. It's very similar to the idea of visual design, where you're trying to create a world for the game and immerse players in it. And audio design helps or does that on different levels than visual design. So your sound effects and your music and your dialogue and things need to all be cohesively designed so that the aesthetic, the theme, and the mood of your design or of your game benefits from it. Let's talk about the building blocks of our audio design. So as I said just now, sound effects, music, and dialogue are the basics of audio design. Um, and they do different things. So your sound effects are noises. So this can be a lot of things. I say noises in the game world. There's a lot of things, whether it's simple footsteps or ambient sounds like birds and um, wind blowing and things like that, to explosions, to reactions to combat, or to the engine of a car. Sound effects are all of these things, and they make up a majority of the sound that you'll hear in a video game, um, even if it's not the most obvious or in your face part of it. Um, Music is pretty self explanatory. Music is the soundtrack of the game. It's what's played throughout the game, can change based on the tone or mood. It can be it can be dynamic in that way. It can uh, be more than just this is overworld music, this is combat music, this is idle music, this is the theme of the game. A lot of very effective soundtracks use music to set the tone, to enhance the emotion in a situation, in a scene, and very much like you would do um, in a movie or in film. Um, Effective soundtracks do a lot of things for the gameplay or for the immersion of the game. And then finally, there's dialogue. So dialogue is at its core things spoken by characters in the game. Good dialogue can be written well, or needs to be written well and also performed well. Very good voiceover, voice acting in games, especially in recent games with games like Baldur's Gate 3. Dialogue uh, can enhance your story and enhance the background of a character, the personality of a character, and needs to be portrayed in the correct circumstances involved in the setting where it takes place. So, effective audio design creates immersion and portrays emotion. So, when we talk about immersion, we want to talk about the atmosphere that it puts you in the world. It makes sense in the area you're in the and the environment that you're in. It creates emotional feat or emotional impact. It changes based off of the mood that's or the mood or the tone that's happening in the scene, and it can effectively be used to create this connection with players and immerse them in the world. The example that I've used in this slide is, if it looks a little obscure, it is the it's supposed to be, I believe this is Kokiri Forest in Ocarina of Time. If you haven't played Ocarina of Time, it has a fantastic soundtrack. But a lot of the audio in this forest, especially in the scene where it actually goes through and reveals um, the forest itself and the layout of the map and everything to you, really gives you that feeling of like a cozy, whimsical, fantastical fairy woods feel. But it gives you it makes you feel um, a little sad because what's happening in this part of the game is Link is realizing that he wants to leave, and this is his home, and these are his friends and everything that he's ever known, and he has a larger ambition and something that needs to start him on his journey. And there's that feel of melancholy about leaving your home, and that's what that is supposed to make you feel. Um, and I think that it does it very effectively. So let's talk a little bit technical. Um, how technically sound can be implemented effectively. Um, so this is a rundown of the way to implement optimize your audio assets in a game, um, and some of the things that we want to look for that are whether or not they are implemented effectively. So um, the basics are if your sound levels are correct, if your um, uh, background music is correctly leveled against the things that are happening in the foreground or the dialogue of the game and not mixed in a way that is causing an imbalance where one is too loud, one is too low. If your sound effects make sense in if it's ambient, then it makes sense to be happening far away versus close up. We'll talk about spatial audio. So 3D sound is something that can really take you out of a game if it's not done right. So if you're expecting to hear a tree fall in the distance, if you hear that in the distance and it's a lot lower than something that's happening right in front of you, that's effective spatial audio. But if that tree falling over happens directly in your ear, then that doesn't that isn't correct, and it can really pull you out of it. Um, Doing a lot of 3D audio with, say, background chatter of NPCs. It wouldn't make sense if you're walking through like a crowded market or whatever to walk by a stall. If you walk by a stall and you hear people talking to each other, if you walk away from that stall, that talking should cease after a certain distance. If that doesn't happen and you're half a city away from them and you're still hearing them talk, that's not very effective. On the other hand, on the flip side, if you are close by something that's supposed to be happening close by and you hear it in the distance, or you don't hear it at all, because for whatever reason the audio has been culled, so you don't hear it, that is the same problem. And the last thing, this is a little out of order. Last thing is optimization. Um, Depending on the size and depth of your audio sources, they can be resource intensive. So you want to make sure uh, that audio isn't dragging down the performance of your game. Especially true in uh, less compressed audio formats, especially with things that are happening constantly, like looping background music. Those things just need to be sure that it's not dragging down performance, but also keeping the correct quality for your uh, for the game. Um, I'm gonna stop that because I don't actually want to get into this, but I like here because this will be a while. But I have two case studies of very effective audio design, and you may have played these games, but the first one we're going to talk about is Firewatch. Firewatch is a fantastic use of subtle audio design of ambient sounds, environmental audio, and dialogue heavy gameplay. There's a lot of very effective subtle audio cues in the game. For those who aren't aware of what Firewatch is, you're basically a member of a ranger group that is watching over a forest and making sure forest fires don't happen, don't start in the forest. And this is something that is done effectively for a very extended period of time, and it's very isolating when these rangers are basically hiking through the woods and making sure that people don't do things in parks that they're not supposed to, start fires and things like that. So the game really deals with a lot of themes of isolation, and self-actualization and things like that. And the audio is very effective in pulling you into that world and making you feel alone when you're alone, and making you feel um, you know scared or tense when things are happening, or calm when you're just enjoying the horizon, things like that. So I've added these videos, this one and in the next slide, as examples of effective audio in these games. I'm also going to attach them as videos in separate parts um, of the module for this week. I'd just like you to watch through them. Maybe do, if you're looking at, if you're interested in more, there are a lot of obviously let's plays and things for these games on YouTube. But just see how effective audio can work in these games. The next one is a bit of a oops. And I'm going to pause this one too, because this one might get very loud. A bit of a antithesis to Firewatch, where Firewatch does a lot of really good ambient work and spatial audio and a lot of emotion and tone setting. Doom Eternal is very in your face. It's all about loud, explosive feedback. It's accompanied by a very appropriate heavy metal soundtrack. It has huge popping sound effects, visceral demon roars, as I said in the slide, and it's designed to get your adrenaline pumping and to get you excited to keep going in the game, and it does it very well. Doom Eternal is talked about a lot as a very useful effect, use of audio design to cause those emotions in its players, and it's just great. It's just great fun. Definitely enhances the experience. So again, take a look at the video that I've put in the presentation here, and go ahead and just see how it or get the feeling for these two examples and kind of how they are antithesis of each other. And I think that's everything for this. Yeah, that's everything for. Oh, and we started again. That's everything for this part of the lecture. I'm going to post everything up, and we're going to, including the discussion for this week. I think I've already posted information for the. Hold up, where's my book? I've already posted everything for the project that is due, I believe, next week. Just double checking. Yep. Project 1 is due next week, so hopefully this will help you kind of analyze audio and visual stuff for that. But there will be a discussion for this week, so make sure you respond to that one. Thanks, everybody. I will talk to you. See you guys next week.